Good morning from Medellín, Colombia. My name is Lucio Henao. I come from Organización Prospectiva. Today, we are here talking about how to teach the future, focusing on peace. We're going to have this split into three. The first part is going to be how are we educating in terms of the future. How do we do this in different degrees and post degrees? The second part is how that education can be focused on territories. And the third one is teaching about the future in order to achieve peace. So, first of all, we're going to talk about a prospective teaching. We want to talk about the etymology of the word spectiva, which means looking critically or reflectively in order to act. So here we're taking everything into account, the past, the present, and the future. The past is with retrospective inspection. In the present, we're talking about perspectives and with an inner vision. And when talking about the future, this is respective and despective. This all helps us to look at what's happening in the future in order to act in the present and in order to create skills. This teaching is very important because focusing on the future is something we can achieve when understanding things in a deep way. Obviously, we have superior education centers in different universities of Colombia and Latin America. We have been there teaching at all different levels, and we have also been teaching companies. We have gone deeper in terms of this deep perspective topic. We've been teaching some seminars, some symposiums. We have had this at national and international levels. So, the second point is teaching perspective for the territory. We are 6 degrees north, 26 degrees west. It's a tropical area. Our population has grown among mountains. Here we're teaching something important, and it has to do with a prospective man, a man that has been evolving from Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens were the viator men, those who were walking, and then we had the conciliator men, those that were planning. So, in order to promote this prospective man, we're working with different regions, different countries, different cities, because all of them need to ask themselves three different questions that will allow us to reach sustainability. Where are we coming from, who we are, and where are we going to? How to answer this in order to have prospective men. This is something that we have been doing with different organizations, entities, from the government, from the private sector in Colombia, Antioquia, Medellin, and Latin America. The third thing I wanted to show you is how all of this become part of the territory's capacity of transforming themselves. Here in this image, you see the electric stairs of Medellin. It's a social innovation project that allows the city to be the most innovative one of the world in terms of social characteristics. Here, we started working with one community. We looked at the problem, we looked at the future, and we saw how to have a sustainable mobility. This is another education intervention. Parks, libraries, and other education institutions are being promoted in popular areas, neighborhoods where there was violence. The third one, the third example of an intervention is this one. This used to be the landfill of the city, and today is a garden, a public library, and we have crops as well. So this is an area that used to be a very problematic area. And then we can also talk about sustainable mobility. Little by little, we're improving. Now we only have 40% of the public transportation which is electric, but before 2030 we're going to have 70% of public transportation in an electric way. And then we can talk about private vehicles. We also want them to be electric. This is a social investment. There were areas hard to access, and in these areas we started building these transportation modes. Then we can talk about the space and free time. In this image, you get to see some water tanks that end up becoming places where people can go, can spend their free time. So in these places, we can promote culture. Something else for the future, which is key, is educating from the moment the baby is born to the moment the child is 5 years old. It's called From Zero to 100, or Buen Comienzo program. The third point here is to teach perspective for the peace. In 1991, Medellín was the most violent city of the world. Now, in 2019, 28 years later, it's out of the top 50 of violent cities. And half of all these 50 cities are in Latin America. So Medellin went from fear to hope and then to trust with everyone's commitment. This was done with education, help of all stakeholders, and the commitment of both citizens and the government. Now it was appointed as the center for the fourth industrial revolution, and we are one of the first 32 resilient cities of the world. So, with this, we can work to start dreaming the future. We love design, so we say that we design and dream the future. So we started designing a future in peace. This has to do with how we live, how we move. When talking about creating the future, we can talk about four different elements. These are the prospective skills and need to be taught to children, to young people. It's the freedom to dream, the will to pretend, the power to propose, and learning how to act. We have very important partners such as Rotary Centerpiece, the World Federation of Future Projects, and UNESCO. They're all helping us in our project. So we have been working also together with the United Nations. We are working with Masterpiece as well. It is a non-profitable organization. So here we developed a program which is taking care of the one that takes care. There are some people who teach the culture in violent centers. For example, there is a dancing project in some communities, and with this project, more than 1,500 people have gone out of violence by dancing. They have participated in international contests and they have more than 15 professional dancers nowadays. Another project is Sueños de Papel libraries. These are libraries in very problematic areas. We have empowered more than 20 women. We have explained them how to face domestic and gender violence. Another project is the meditation project, where we empower women. This is done together with masterpiece. And I wanted to highlight that education is the most powerful weapon of the world. It can truly be used to change the world. So I am here today with Maria del Pilar Mejia. She is a young entrepreneur. She is a well trained person and she knows about sustainability. So I'm going to pass the floor to her so that she speaks. Hello, good morning. As he said, I'm Miss Mejia. I have experience in innovation. The idea is working with Luis and many others to improve sustainability and to look at the challenges that we have for the future. The idea is to solve this. Teenagers must know the future and they also need to understand the tools they have and that they can be part of the solution. But in order for them to be part of the solution, they need to propose ideas. And that's why innovation and entrepreneurship play a key role. Thank you very much, Maria del Pilar. Cecilia, are we okay in terms of time? Well, okay, I mean, that was great. I'm going to stop recording.